Hey guys, it's RX here and welcome back to my channel. We are back with yet another Akko Switch review, and I believe this is my last Switch on the list and we're finally up to date with their Switches. I know I'm a bit late in reviewing this one today, so let's all take a look and listen at the new, or not new, but the CS Crystal Wine Red Switches by Akko. By the way, this Switches was sent for review by Akko, but I wasn't paid to make the video, so of course I'll give you guys my honest and unbiased opinion about the Crystal Wine Red. Now, a quick background about the Switches. The Switches is a full polycarbonate structure, meaning to say it's using polycarbonate for the top and bottom, and using as well on the stems. It has a 23mm extension springs with a 45-gram actuation force and a 48-gram bottom-out force. A pack of 45 pieces would cost you around $16.99, so it's not their typical budget Switches. So in today's video, it's going to be the usual, so a stock versus zoom comparison, a sound comparison versus other Akko linear Switches, and if you want to hear my thoughts and opinion about the Switch, please do stick around at the end of the sound test, or feel free to check the timestamps. And speaking of sound test, let me give you guys a quick disclaimer before we start. That the sound and experience will vary depending on your keyboard build, meaning to say that it will sound and feel different depending on your keyboard build. We'll be using, of course, the Vega65 with a polycarbonate plate foam, and no case foam. Switches was Lubed with a 205 grade 0, and the keycaps that was used was a PBT set and a dummy key set. So with all of that out of the way, please do enjoy the sound test on the Crystal Wine Red Switches. So that was a sound test for the crystal wine red switches. If you made it up to this point of the video, I'd like to say thanks for staying and let me know what you think about the switches on the comment section down below, and let's have some quick discussions. And now let's talk about my thoughts and opinion about the Switch. Finally, my thoughts on the feel. On stock, it feels a bit tight, so it has that little bit of the raw plastic feeling when typing on stock. I also felt a bit of a leaf crunch. It is still smooth, but I wouldn't really recommend using them on stock if ever. But I can say that it can be worked on by just adding or applying a slight lube on the rails and on the stems, and you should be good to go. So once lube, of course, it felt so much better and more smoother. Can really say that you need to lube them if you really want to feel and bring the best out of the switches. Now, typing wise, I actually like it a lot, but it feels similar enough to another CS switches, which are the CS Crystal Silver. So it has that sharp linear feel to it with a snappy return bottom out. The 23mm extension springs are really satisfying with every bottom out, and now the actuation force, it's around 45 gram, but surprisingly it didn't feel that light, and something that I got used to right away, and given that it also has a 48 gram bottom out force. I can say that you can really feel the bottom out, but it isn't that harsh and really complements that extension springs, as you can really feel that snappy return whenever you type. Now let's move on to my thoughts on the sound. On stock, it sounded a bit all over the place. It's really high pitch and it has a plastic sound to it. Personally, I didn't like how it sounds on stock, as it sounded a bit aggressive or sharp for a linear switch out of the box. Of course, once lube, it sounded more subtle and more toned down. You can really hear that snappy sound signature of every Akko switch with an extension springs. It is indeed clacky, but not that aggressive like the out of the box or the stock Soundtest. Now, some of you may say it sounds the same, but in real life, you can really hear the difference when I say it's more toned down versus the stock. To be honest, I really like how they sound, as it really is satisfying when you bottom out. Now, overall, the switches are okay, but not really something I would use out of the box. Again, they sounded and feel a bit similar to the CS Crystal Silver, and those feels a bit better out of the box. The only difference would be the actuation force, as the CS Crystal Silver has 43 gram actuation compared to the 45 gram on these ones. Nowadays, it's really hard to compare Akko switches, especially if the specifications are almost the same, and of course we have their budget line of switches, especially the V3 cream yellows. Now, would I suggest these switches? Well, not really, as I can see this somehow as a recolor, but I'm not saying that these are switch that is bad. It's just so happened that there's nothing really unique about this, and that would make you feel left out if you don't have them. And yes, that is it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review on the switches, and I hope you really find them helpful. If you do, please don't forget to hit the like button, as it helps out my channel grow. And what's next? Well, we are finally checking out the Mykeyclub M2 and some more switches, so please stay tuned for that. Again, please don't forget to hit the like button, share if you want, and of course, subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys on the next sound test. Peace.